saying you can't take other elements and create light out of that, but you got self-illuminated elements based off the Lord created things in general.
This is 1 Corinthians 12:12. For as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, also is Hamashiach.
So basically, it's just a proper order of things. This pieces to the puzzle. When you putting a puzzle together, you don't have all corner pieces, right? You don't got all pieces. It's got pieces sticking up and sticking to the right. Every piece plays its part, man. That's why I say created everything in general, because we're basically here as puzzle pieces. Everything plays its part. Lonely talk, Balak. He's speaking at Balak. With a cigarette, he got that.
So 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
That's right, man. Because when you understand, like we've been saying, the times when you're understanding the scriptures, the prophecies, you will know when it's time that the Yahweh Shai is going to come back, man. And if you're in the spirit, then you will realize that time is now. That we're closer than we ever been. That it's going to be a time that never was before. So mentally, spiritually, you need to be prepared for this. Right now is the time to get right. Yeah. Right now is the time to switch up and become that new man.
Romans 13 and 11. And that, knowing the time, that now is high time to wake out of sleep.
That's right, knowing the time, knowing that we at the end, knowing that the element's going to be dissolved with fervent heat. Okay? Now that you know this, is what?
It's high time to wake out of sleep.
It's high time to wake out of sleep. That means get your ass up and do what you need to do. Start studying. Alright? Put off those bad habits. You gotta come up one by one. It's hard to just to purge yourself from being one man to another. But it's easier if you transition. This is the time to start transitioning into that better person. But we ain't got time to hold your hand. Why? Because this is the end. We measured the time. We know where we at. We hasten the day.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
It's nearer than when we believe. Okay? That's like it said, matter of fact, give me, I'm gonna go back to Matthew. I believe it's 23.
So Matthew 16 and 2. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but ye cannot discern the signs of the time. You know, and that's just like what we're going into. Like, when you wake up in the morning, you don't even have to look at your phone. You look out the window and you see the sun starting to come up. Oh, it's about 5:30, 6 o'clock. But when you see these prophecies popping off all across the world, you don't take heed to it. You got people getting knocked off left and right. You got tensions going on between the U.S. and China. You got, like we mentioned, these different tribulations that's going on throughout the earth. These different so-called natural disasters, and you ain't paying attention to the times, man. Like when you see it's gloomy outside, oh, it might rain today. You know, everybody knows that. But why can't nobody pay attention to the prophecies, man? You know why? Because 2/3 of you niggas ain't for this, man. And that, through the Spirit, I did a lesson today, and that goes to men that's in this truth too. You know, the so-called half-ass men of the Lord, because ain't no half-ass men of the Lord. All right, you're gonna receive that full. You're gonna receive a full recompense of the Lord's indignation, which is that judgment, because you're not discerning the times, man. You're gonna get caught up in what the world calls the so-called rapture, which is really the destruction and indignation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. It's like, what was that you looking for?
Go ahead.
It says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, and he left him and departed.
That's right, man. We don't need a sign to tell us what's going on, all right? All the signs is already written down. We don't need to say, oh, well, Lord, if you're really going to come back, won't you manifest yourself right in front of me so I can see you? That's wicked, man. We don't need that, man. All right? That's showing lack of faith. If you got faith that this is the truth, then you'll do the work. Matter of fact, what is faith? The substance, the evidence of things not seen. You can't see faith. You can't see, you know what I'm saying, the Lord right now. But you gotta have faith that He's with you right now, that He'll protect you, and in that day that He gonna have your back.
Hey, I was looking for the scripture. It says, faith that is seen is not faith, man. You know, it says, blessed is he who have believed and not seen. You know, it's all faith, man. Because you might get put in a sticky situation to where you don't know what to do. But if you believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and you recognize certain situations that He put, it's a trial of your faith. Yeah. The Most High, He'll put something in front of you just to see where your faith is at, see how you're going to handle that situation, man. That's why the son I'm going into measure the times, because we might be out in the wilderness, man. It might be a time like the road. We might be like the road, man. What you gonna do? Have you been training yourself to deal with these situations, or have you been acting like you're training yourself to deal with these situations and really been bullshit? Because your faith is gonna lie in the things that you read and really what you believe in, man. The things that you retained while we were in this hell. If I get a precept real quick in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter and the first verse. That complements exactly what I'm talking about, man. And you look around, Jake ain't preparing themselves for the time that's coming. And what Jake say, I'm woke as hell, but what are you doing? You know, what are you doing to better yourself and to prepare yourself for the times to come? What are you doing? All right?
Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth.
Yeah, in the days of thy youth. Go ahead.
While the evil days come not.
Yeah, this is the time to be getting on your shit, man. This is the time to be studying, digging. You know, while the evil days come not. What they say, if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready, man. So if you stay, it says give attendance to exhortation and doctrine until I come. So if you attend to the scriptures and you prepare yourself for the days to come, when them times come, you're gonna know how to deal with it, man. You know how Jake is. Jake like to wait until the last minute for things to go down. You get an exam, they want to wait until the night before to cram in 30 pages of information when you had a whole month to do it.
Okay.
Because whether these people believe or not, you know, these prophecies gonna come to pass, and they're gonna smack anybody who's not ready in the head, man.
Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in it.
Yeah, because we don't know exactly what date and what time that the Lord is coming. But that's what, through the Spirit, that's what the brother's going through. When you see different things going on, that's how you know we almost there, man. You can feel it. read that part again.
Come. I read the whole thing. It says,
Yeah, go ahead.
remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain.
Well, why would you want to play with your salvation?
Right.
Why would you? That's one thing that you can't play with, man. Because you see, the people that play with their salvation are people who lost faith, people who didn't want to remain sound in the faith. They want to do their own thing, follow their own devices. You playing with your salvation because now what? The Lord is weeding you out from the sect of His true men. And that's another trial to see, was it just a phase? Is this my test of faith? Am I going to continue to hit the highways? Am I going to continue to read, study, and exhort the people? Or am I just going to say, man, no, forget it. I'm going to just be a 2/3. Me personally, I don't want to play with my salvation. And I can attest to these brothers here too. You're not going to play with your salvation, man. When you see the things that the Lord can do, and even the prophets, man, the prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, they knew because of their forefathers before them that if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, they're in fear of being put to death by the Lord, man. And you don't want to suffer for unrighteousness. You don't want to suffer being somebody who fell out of the faith, somebody who couldn't stick to the plan. You want to be the one that died like, man, look, I did what I was supposed to do. It was in Ezra, they stood so stiffly for the Lord, man, for the name of the Lord, man. You had a precept, bro?
No. Go ahead.
You fit up.
Yeah.
Don't fail to get to like verse 2 or 3. And then you just go through.
Okay. And in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders.
Yeah, because people think they got so-called authority in this world, or got rank. You know, they OGs, they got the juice. When them times come, if you ain't been preparing yourself for what's to come, you gonna be hurt. You gonna ball up like a little female, man, because you ain't prepared for the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. You want to hit the club every Thursday. It's college night. You know, you want to go out every Friday. Ooh, the stars is out tonight, man. You got to prepare for the Lord, man. And ain't nothing wrong with doing nothing, but niggas consistently do vain actions, man. They consistently don't seek the Lord, man. And then when something happens to them, they wonder, why did this happen? Because you wasn't diligent. You wasn't looking for the Lord, man. Let me get Proverbs 1 and 21. I believe it starts at 21. Just get a good point.
Is it 1 and 21?
I believe it's 1 and 21. It might start up a little before that. This is
Proverbs chapter 1 verse 20. Wisdom cried without. She uttered her voice in the streets.
Right, and you have men throughout the four winds of the earth that are teaching this word, man. They're all on the same accord. They're all call on the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They all teach the same word, man. And we not hiding from nobody, man. We right in the chief place of concord. We right here where Jake is at, man. Go ahead.
She cried from the chief place of concourse in the openings of the gates.
In the openings of the gates, man. All right, we outside, man. We ain't in no alley. We ain't in no backyards. We out here where y'all can see us, man.
Yeah, I remember Prophet 666. It was 630. I don't know what his name was. He's teaching his backyard, like, listen to me.
This is what our forefathers did the same thing. Noah did the same thing, man. He was out there teaching for over 100 years, and you had Jake that was walking by playing with him, man. You had Jake walking by, man. We ain't never seen no rain, man. He tripping, you know. And the same with the prophets that followed after him, man. They were out where the people were, man. They were out where Israel was, man. Because the Lord set up prophets to gather in His people. No, hey, we don't care about no so-called white people or these heathen nations, because salvation ain't for them. It's for these people on the sign, man. You know, you don't have to agree. The scriptures say it plainly that this salvation and mercy is only unto Israel, man. So if you're a heathen, if you're a so-called white person, you're a so-called African, you're a so-called Hawaiian, if you're not on this sign, man, you're doomed, man.
Let them know.
And then Jake, we out here for you. We out here for you. We out here for the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because you're the only people on the planet Earth that has a chance to be saved, and you driving by playing, man.
You the main niggas out here smoking.
Hey, that's why I want to give this.
Hey, cousin, I love you, my nigga.
What's up, man?
You know it's 100.
Hey,
I just see your mind.
oh yeah?
Yup, just see your mind. What's your number?
Case phone 2,
Yup,
637-6920.
69, I'm about to call you, cousin.
All right, bet.
My D.
Now you gonna have
Like Mike Jones, huh?
They looking for your job, all of that.
612, 612? Yep,